I am so grateful to Bob Red. He's been a dear friend for many, many years, a genuine, compassionate guy, true sports enthusiast. And I thank you. I thank all of you who I have been in contact with, that I have met at Concord and elsewhere. And my chief goal now, after having been to these ceremonies several times over the years, is to be brief in my remarks. But I must give a shout out to my family who is gathered here today. My thanks to the Hall of Fame committee and to my fellow honorees this morning. Yes, I love football, but I also love basketball. I love baseball. I love soccer. Have I missed anything? People would ask me as a sports writer, what's my favorite sport? And I said, all of them. I said, when one season seems to be going on forever and you're getting a little tired, you have the playoffs and you have another season. Fall, winter, spring, even in the summer. So I have enjoyed them all, and I've gotten to see a lot of highlights here at Concord University since I enrolled here as a freshman in 1972. I'm immensely honored to be selected into the Hall of Fame. I didn't strike out any batters. I didn't punch any goals into the net. I didn't tackle any ball carriers for loss of yardage. I'm in a little different category. What I have done for more than a quarter of a century is to announce the action on the football field and the basketball court to Mountain Lion fans, and often then to turn around and hammer out some game stories for the local newspapers. Let me tell you about my start in public address announcing. As a Concord student, I would leave campus on Fridays. I would drive home to little old Union, West Virginia, home of the Union Red Devils, and we would go to the football field where I met a Union High School teacher named Charlie LaRue. And together we would climb up a makeshift ladder into a little platform that was screwed into a giant wooden timber that held up the bank of the lights at the football field. And it was up there on that little wooden platform that I became Charlie LaRue's student. I learned so much from him. I learned about professionally announcing, who was running the ball, who was tackling, who was the yardage that they had gained, trying to be fair to both teams because there were two teams out there. And, I was his unofficial assistant, I guess, but I learned a lot from Charlie LaRue. Here in Athens, I had an apprenticeship with Harry Finkelman, an accounting professor here who was the voice of Mountain Lion football for 50 years. Think about that, half a century. And I will never be as good as Harry Finkelman was at figuring out the yardage of a punt and the number of yards in a punt return. He could just do that before the play was even over. He'd turn on the mic and tell people about that. And he once told me, it's easy. You take the line of scrimmage before the punt, and you take the line on which the punt was received, and you take those two numbers and add them up and subtract them from 100. It's easy. It was easy for Mr. Finkelman. He was a top-notch accounting professor, and he had quite a mind for numbers. I picked up duties later on as the announcer for Concord's basketball games for both the women's team and the men's team. I started out for a couple of years announcing women's basketball because I knew that there would be guys who would be who would jump at the chance of announcing the men's game. But I wanted the women's game to have an equally professional experience. So I did that for a couple of years and then eventually was able to do both. Been blessed to do both. And through all this, I have never taken a cent from my alma mater for being the announcer, although I have consumed a few hamburgers some M&Ms, and quite a bit of soda pop. It's been an honor to recognize the achievements of Concord student-athletes on an immediate, play-by-play basis, and to encourage our fans when an opponent faces third down, let's hear your roar. We can try that again at the stadium here a little later today, if I get done quickly and we're over there by 1 o'clock. Now, so I leave you with this simple observation. When a bystander sees someone wearing a shirt with a college's name on it, he or she can't help but judge that institution, at least partly by the behavior of the person who is wearing its name. So when you're wearing a Concord shirt, and even when you're not, you are an ambassador for Concord University. I urge you to remember that and to live out that responsibility to make your alma mater proud. Again, I thank you for your time this morning, and I thank you sincerely for my selection into the Hall of Fame.